Narcissistic abuse survivors hate having visitors at their home. Because for a lot of us, home becomes the only place where you truly feel safe. It is the one space you have fought to reclaim, the one corner of the world that belongs to you and no one else. The idea of having to entertain or accommodate someone in that space can feel like a violation. Even well-meaning visitors can unknowingly bring in energy that feels intrusive or destabilizing. The pressure of hosting guests. With narcissists, everything is always about appearances. Hosting guests is never about genuine connection, is it? It is about putting on a show, keeping up the illusion, or playing the role of the happy family. You now reject anything that reminds you of those hollow performances. The pressure to make things look perfect does not feel polite. It feels suffocating to you. You no longer want to fake smiles or pretend you're happy just to keep up appearances when someone comes over. Visitors bring noise, conversation, and unspoken expectations. Even simple small talk can be draining for someone who has spent years in emotional survival mode. You have learned to guard your peace like your life depends on it, because for a very long time, it actually did. A single comment about the decor, cleanliness, or daily routine can stir up some deep shame. Narcissists, you know how they use home as a stage to criticize, control, and belittle. So now, you fear that even the most innocent observations may carry hidden judgment or subtle disapproval. For a lot of us, home is the first thing that we have complete control over. You have filled it with peace, quiet, and healing energy. Letting someone into that space feels like exposing something vulnerable and sacred. And you know, vulnerability does not come easy after years of betrayal. Triggers and trauma responses. You have also been conditioned to manage the moods of others. Hosting a guest can trigger an automatic shift into fawn, people-pleasing, monitoring facial expressions, managing energy, and anticipating needs. What may be a casual visit for someone else can feel like an exhausting emotional performance for you. The hypervigilance never really switches off. After being watched, criticized leads ahead. When someone steps into your home, you may unconsciously start scanning for danger, tone of their voice, body language, and sudden changes in mood. Everything feels like it could mean something. It's tiring, even if there is no real threat. And that is the reason why you struggle. It's not that you are antisocial, that you are a loner. None of that is true. You're not shy either. There is something deeper happening, which is what we are going to understand today. I'm Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery professional. Welcome to my channel. We are going to understand why survivors of narcissistic abuse hate having visitors at their home. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed. Click that subscribe button because your subscription helps in spreading awareness about narcissistic abuse. When you step outside your home, everything becomes a potential trigger. Loud noises can remind you of the shouting matches you survived. Gatherings feel overwhelming because they bring back memories of being criticized in front of others. Even random things you see can take you right back to specific moments from your abusive relationship or childhood trauma you endured. The sacredness of home. So, your home becomes a sacred space. When someone visits and brings their own energy into that space, you genuinely hate it. There is suddenly loud noise disrupting your peace. Your privacy gets invaded, and that safe bubble you have created gets disrupted. At home, you can finally do whatever you want without anyone judging you. That's huge for someone who has been criticized and controlled for a long time. But when visitors come over, all these old fears resurface. You start worrying that someone is going to judge how you clean your house, or how clean it is, whether things are organized the right way, or just find something to devalue. You have spent your whole life being judged in one way or another, haven't you? So, you really do not want any of it anymore. Personal examples and healing. I'll give you a personal example. Whenever, as a family, we used to come together for dinner, everyone would be sitting around the dining table, having conversations. And I would get triggered because the dining table was like a war zone in reality. Every breakfast, every dinner, there was always some kind of fight happening. Always. So even when there is just normal discussion going on now, it takes me back to those moments, and I self-regulate. I bring myself back to the present moment and tell myself I am safe. What I am afraid of happening could, would, or might happen. It's not happening now. It's a different environment, a different place, and a different space. That is exactly how you heal trauma, through your intentionality. These small triggers are everywhere for survivors, and visitors unfortunately may not understand that. Another thing you really struggle with is you do not want to perform anymore. You're not in a state where you can welcome someone with fake enthusiasm. Maybe you're exhausted at a bone level. Maybe you prefer solitude now. You want to live with yourself on your own terms, without having to put on a show for anyone. Throughout your abusive relationship, you watched your narcissistic partner fake being nice to strangers all the time. The narcissist would suddenly become this amazing, great person, helping people with money, being super generous, just to get validation from others. For you, watching that kind of fake behavior became nauseating. So now, if you do not genuinely feel like welcoming someone, you are not going to put on a mask and pretend. You're done with that kind of performance. Concerns about safety and trust. You also have serious concerns about your personal space being invaded. You worry about safety and security in ways that may seem extreme to others, but make perfect sense when you understand your background, your trauma, and your adaptations. You're afraid visitors won't treat your pets well, or that someone may mishandle something in your home and cause damage. It's not OCD. Many of us develop these very specific safety worries. You imagine visitors using the gas stove wrong and starting a fire, or handling electrical equipment incorrectly and causing a short circuit, or accidentally injuring your pets while playing with them. These are not just random anxieties. They come from never feeling safe around anyone. Nobody in your life has given you the kind of support that builds trust. So trusting new people in your space feels incredibly difficult. Even simple social interactions become exhausting for you. Just saying hi and hello, giving someone a hug, it's like climbing a mountain. If those basic interactions drain you completely, imagine how hard it is to host guests all day, carrying a smile, being welcoming and warm, preparing food, and making conversation. It's honestly not possible for a lot of us because you're already running on empty. Hyper-awareness and social exhaustion. You also feel this sense of powerlessness when people visit. It reminds you of feeling trapped in your abusive relationships, like you do not have a voice or choice in what happens. When there is nobody else in the house, you can finally just be yourself. You may have clothes piled up, things not so perfectly organized, and that's okay because nobody is there to judge you. They do not know what you have been through. But when visitors come, you feel pressure to perform, but to present this perfect version of yourself. And you just cannot do that anymore. Something those who have not been through narcissistic abuse do not understand is that you have developed this incredible ability to see through people's facades. In today's world, whether narcissist or not, I genuinely believe 5 or 6 people out of 10 act nice but are, deep down, manipulative. It's not me being paranoid. It's how things are functioning right now. The official number of people diagnosed with NPD may look much lower, but in reality, there are millions of people walking around, acting nice, while hiding their true nature. You can see this even when somebody is smiling at you. You notice how that person stares, the energy they carry, the subtle signs they reveal, who they really are. You have been trained by your abuse to pick up on these signs. So when you sense that kind of negative energy, you absolutely do not want it in your home. You have worked too hard to create a peaceful space to let that toxicity back in. Another thing that makes social interactions so difficult for you is the unpredictability. You have developed this hyper-awareness of tone, words, and facial expressions. Like I said in the beginning, because you had to in order to survive the abuse, you learned to read every micro expression, every slight change in voice, every shift in body language, because those were your early warning signs of danger. This hyper-awareness does not just turn off when you are in recovery. So, when visitors come, you're constantly scanning, analyzing, and you are on high alert. You cannot relax and just enjoy the conversation or interaction because your nervous system is still stuck in survival mode. Protecting your energy and space. You have also outgrown the need to pretend to be normal. You have realized that normal means, quite often, accepting toxic behavior, putting up with disrespect, and prioritizing other people's comfort over your well-being. You're done with that. Your home represents freedom from all of that. It is where you can finally breathe, where you can process your healing, where you can exist without having to manage anyone else's emotions or expectations. When visitors come, even well-meaning ones, it disrupts that peace and brings back all those old patterns of having to perform. Recovery from narcissistic abuse is not just about healing from the past. It's about learning to protect your energy and space in the present. That's what I call stabilization, phase 1 of healing. For a lot of us, that means being very selective about who you let into your home, outside and inside. And it's not about being antisocial, as I said, or rude. It's about honoring your needs and maintaining the boundaries that keep you safe and sane. Conclusion and further resources. I teach a lot more about this in my membership program called Thrive After Narcissistic Abuse. Right now it's closed for enrollment, but you can sign up for a waiting list. Link is in the description. I will talk to you in the next one.